let your head out. All night long. Pull your beard out, just weird out. All night long. Rock this house until we knock it down. So turn the volume out. Cause it's spitting to the haters. So break the bass up like crazy. Let yourself go. Let yourself go. Life's too short to not go for broke.
Welcome back to this presentation of the ACC on ESPN. Hurry, we've got to congratulate Marshall Mathers on having 4 singles in the top 20 of the Billboard Hot 100 chart. That's the first time since the Beatles in 1964, and it all started with the halftime blues, baby.
It all started with that introduction, right?
Oh,
Going
yeah.
back to Ann Arbor.
Oh, yeah. Who will ever forget that? All right, here we go now. The Panthers trailing by 7. They'll get the ball here to start the second half. Brinza kicks it away. Then they're going to bring it out. Here comes Pitts. Out to the 22-yard line. So there's a penalty flag, late penalty flag. Came flying in there. This ACC crew to get that sorted out.
Illegal block in the back. On the return team, number 19. 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. First down.
So that'll hurt their field position.
Yeah, not an ideal way to start the second half, but Pitt does get the football. Notre Dame, if you're just tuning in, won the toss, took the football, and you know it's been an interesting first half because you would think Notre Dame on paper had a better team and they could walk away from it. They lost one of their best players, Stephon Tuitt. I think it's given Pitt a little bit of life, and I think it's given their offense a chance to throw the football. Savage is going to have to continue to make plays, throwing the ball, and he's got 2 receivers that are making some stuff happen tonight for his offense.
Well, we'll see what they can come up with, Herbie.
Yeah.
Herbie, that penalty certainly hurt their field position a little bit. On first down, they run Bennett, and take a look at our Pacific Life game summary. And Herbie, let's compare the 2 quarterbacks in the first half.
You know, Tommy Reese has not completed many balls, but when he has, he's made it a big throw and a big catch. And for Tom Savage, you know, he's been inconsistent. There've been times when we've seen him get into rhythm and he's been on fire, and other times he's been erratic. And remember, he is working with an offensive line that has struggled most of the year protecting the quarterback, so it handcuffs him a bit because they got to get the ball out of his hands pretty quickly.
Facing a second down at 9, needs to reach the 21-yard line for a first down. Savage, good protection, and he's got that first down as he snapped it off again to Garner. Vanessa Garner.
It's a good job here. Again, Notre Dame has kept their safeties back. They're just trying to keep most of the big plays in front of them, preventing the big plays, and it's opened up some creases underneath against this zone coverage, and it's a great job of going up and making a catch. Gardner, a couple times tonight, has been able to get into traffic and shown some pretty good toughness to be able to hold on to the ball.
First down and 10, and here comes Bennett. Trying to swing it to the outside, made the most of it as he finally turned it north-south for 3 years. And let's check in with Heather.
Brent and Kirk, I love the honesty out of Paul Chryst coming out of the locker room. I talked about the message to his guys at halftime, and he said, you know what, it was just a typical coach speak, nothing special, but we did make some adjustments. We're trying defensively to create a little bit more pressure. I also asked about the vacancy of Stephon Tuitt, if he's going to try to attack it a little bit. He said, you know what, we're not. We tried it. It didn't work. We're moving on.
Nice gloves. Herbie, did you notice that?
Yeah.
I think the trainer took care of our girl down there.
She comes prepared from Boise. She's ready to roll.
Second down and 5. Savage again getting good protection, and tight end couldn't hang on that time. J.P. Holtz. You know, J.P. Holtz, he kind of popped off this week. He said the Irish were cocky, coaches and players, and if you're going to do that, young man, you got to hold on to the football.
Yeah, it's always the guy that opens up his mouth that ends up dropping balls like
That's the truth. There's the quote. Yeah, I don't like them at all. They're just different people.
He says they're really cocky and their coaches are really cocky. Just don't like it.
JP from right here in Pittsburgh went to Shaler Area High School. Third down and 5. Steps up away from the pressure, fires it downfield, incomplete. Devin Street was being covered that time by Cole Luke downfield. Freshman corner.
Yep, corner with man-to-man coverage here. We've seen a lot of man coverage for both of these defenses, and Devin Street's got to be able to beat the freshman and get better separation. Savage stepped into the pocket, and he's got to be able to try to throw it away. And you know, it looked there at the end, he was able to pull away, but I think that was more of a reaction from Cole Luke.
Jones awaits the punt. We had some fun with Matt Yaklik in the first half, but he ended that half with a dandy. Gets into this one again. Youngster's got a big leg. Drives Jones back to the 15, and he is lowered down. Wow, what great coverage that time.
Trent Coles again with a big play on special teams.
That's a couple of tackles he's made. In the opening kickoff, I think he did it too. That's a 56-yard punt. Watch this tackle by Coles.
Nothing better than having a 56-yard punt, and then Coles, the freshman, getting downfield and making that. Just a great job of changing field position. We know what kind of big play ability T.J. Jones has, but Coles gets down there in a hurry and makes a great play.
So Aaron Donald and friends will try to strap it up defensively here. The freshman, Folston, is the running back, and he'll start the second half for the Irish. And he gets pushed back by Shane Gordon, was in on that tackle.
Tommy Reese has the arm and has the receivers that can make enough plays. His tight ends have been involved tonight. Nicholas and really Ben Koyak as well. This is a big throw that we thought initially was a touchdown. Brent caught that elbow. He came up a little bit short. But Tommy Reese has been a little bit erratic himself, much like Tom Savage. There have been some drives where he's been on sync and found some one-on-one matchups, and other times where the pressure from Donald and company had been too much.
Donald trying to rush from that tackle position. He is picked up. This is short of the first down, but still hauling is Nicholas before he's finally brought down to the 22-yard line by Pitts.
Notre Dame has big playability. Brian Kelly telling us how important it was to get the ball thrown downfield. They took 10 shots downfield in the first half, and you know, they haven't had well, actually some of the underneath throws not had a lot of success, but I think you'll see before this game is over continuing to try to find Daniels downfield along with T.J. Jones.
Here is Reese stopping, moved the pocket, and he hit his main man Daniels. He scored the first touchdown of the night on a pass from Reese.
And they roll him away, get him to the outside, continue to move the launch points, and see the very good look in the background there of Daniels clearing the zone. Jason Hendricks, 25, who's been busy tonight, kind of flowing to the outside out into the flat and opened up a nice throwing lane there for Tommy Reese.
First down and 10. Donald over the right defensive tackle, and he was stoned that time by that offensive line. This offensive line, Irby, is starting to take charge of that defensive front.
They are really working Aaron Donald, and when you get double teamed a lot, it can start to take a toll on you. Aaron Donald he gets it done with quickness, and Brent, he is 285 to 290 pounds. He's been double teamed the majority of this football game. You get into the second half, you wonder how, even though he's quick, he's one of the better interior players, how does his body hold up over the wear and tear of the game?
Yeah, Chris Watt had helped that time on him, and Hendricks with the stop now. Now watch this young man.
He's getting a little frustrated in there. Look at every single time. This time he's got three white jerseys around him. And then at the end, he's had enough of this. Come on, Chris Watt.
Chris Watt returns to the lineup after missing last week. He knew that when he squared off with number 97, he was going to have his hands full here tonight. Now he's got a 3rd down and 7. Reese, pocket holds, a little too high that time, and it'll be 4th down. So the Irish won a couple of those battles in the pit, but the Panthers won the war on this series, and they're going to get the ball back right now.
And there's the blitz right in front of you there, and he almost got there. K'Wan Williams, who's lined up as a nickelback, they brought him late. Right here's a good look at it. He gets in almost. Chris Watt just does get him away from Tommy Reese, but I think just the fact that he flashed in front of Tommy Reese's eyes, it may have affected his accuracy there downfield.
Witherspoon is back deep for the Panthers. Try to wave everybody off of the short punt. And the Irish down it close to the 30-yard line. 14-7. Pittsburgh ball when you come back. You're watching the ACC on ESPN. Telecast available in high definition. Brought to you by Vizio. Notre Dame 14, Pittsburgh 7. These two teams played a 3 overtime game at South Bend a year ago. Won by the Irish, of course, as they marched to a perfect regular season. Then they were beaten by Alabama in the BCS championship game. Bama with its hands full against LSU tonight. That game deadlocked at 17 down in Tuscaloosa. And here's Savage. And Pittsburgh will see if they can get something going. He's going to take off and slide down for a 7-yard gain.
We've talked so much about the double teams that Aaron Donald is dealing with, but Lewis Nix, who's back in the lineup, he's dealing with it as well. And the one thing about Lewis Nix and his defense, when he gets double teamed, it frees up the linebackers and safeties to make plays. Here he is eating a couple blocks up right in the middle. You can see the linebacker Dan Fox is able to get around and get involved in run support. That is his job and his role. You're not always going to see him show up in the stats, but where he does show up is eating up those blocks and freeing up the linebackers.
Looking for this 240-pound running back right now, and that was James Conner trying to extend for the first down. He's a freshman from Erie, Pennsylvania.
Lewis Nix here right over the left guard, King. He is a very different way of dealing with these linemen. Donald does it with quickness at 290 pounds, and Nix does it with 300 and whatever it is today when he woke up, 350 pounds. But that time he and Schleiper locked up.
First down and 10 against the big fella. Little corner blitz, and they run away from it that time, and they keep Conner right on the field. And he's got a terrific upside. He was recruited to Herbie, as we talked about, a defensive end. And the coaches told us this is a tough young man, and he's a true freshman.
Erie, Pennsylvania, comes in as a defensive end / outside linebacker, and 230 pounds showed that they didn't have a lot of depth at running back, and because he had some experience, he was able to come over and help them out. And I'll tell you, tonight watching him, it feels a little bit different when he gets his hands on the ball compared to Bennett.
I agree. They're going to give him a little break now, and Isaac Bennett from Tulsa, Oklahoma, back on the field, flared as a safety valve. And you know, Savage is starting to look a little bit more confident back there as he throws the ball out. That to Orndorff for the first down. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, well, I think there's Jones who's down. He's able to get back up. They're going to probably check him out. But, yeah, I think that it's incredible to watch him, because when he gets back and he gets the ball out, I think that's where you see that he's got a chance to be able to get into that rhythm. There's Orndorff, the freshman tight end, who's had to check out of the game. So we're starting to see the effects of this game a little bit here in the second half.
Remember now, Tuitt was kicked out, and now Jones was injured for the Irish.
They were lacking depth.
Really
they're lacking depth to begin with.
But that defensive line, Bennett going to try to pound behind the left side, and the coaches obviously. One of the things, folks, if you don't know about Paul Chryst, he's just a terrific football man, all right? And he does know how to sequence plays. He did it at Wisconsin with some of those great teams with Barry Alvarez, and then later when they drove to 3 consecutive Rose Bowls. He's in his second year here in Pittsburgh, trying to get his kind of players. He needs a few more tight ends. He likes to do that. Big offensive line. He's got a 2nd down and 4, and this offensive line is starting to move the football here a little bit.
And I think when Tuitt went out is when they've been able to find that rhythm. And we talked about that drive that they had when they put points up on the board. It was just a good job of mixing up a variety of ways to attack Notre Dame.
They're going to come back with the big back on him here, Herbie.
Yeah.
He's going to bring James Conner.
And I think they're doing enough in this running game because of a Tuitt out. They're able to control the line of scrimmage a little bit better. Not great, but a little bit better. And I think you mix that in with Savage getting the ball out of his hands, and it's become a little bit tougher for Notre Dame to deal with this offense.
Alabama regained the lead in that other one, 24-17. Here it's 14-7, but Pittsburgh driving. And they go out to the up back, and that's Jamar Parrish. And there it is, that play call, Herbie. You bring in the big back, and you know that Notre Dame was looking for number 40. and just hand it to that fullback, and he got the first down.
And not only that, you're going right into the big fella. I mean, you're going right into the teeth of the experience, and there's, look at Nix, he's back well beyond the first down marker. So we want to talk about these backs and Savage, but you know, this offensive line, we talked about maybe them being an Achilles heel, but they're starting to, I think, starting to feel a little bit better about themselves and getting a little bit of a push. Remember, Nix is coming back with it. He had a knee injury, he's missed a few games. Tuitt's out. They're dealing with a lot of depth concerns on the defensive line, and that's where Pitt's trying to take advantage of it.
And now Jones, replaced Tuitt, is off on the sideline. Savage on play action, takes a deep drop, gonna fire down for Street in the end zone, broken up. A beautiful defensive play down there in the end zone by Elijah Shoemate, the safety from East Orange, New Jersey. What a nice play.
And the ball kind of hung up in the air. This is where Devin Street, I think he could have slowed his route down and used his body to try to keep Schuett away from the football. Because the ball is underthrown, it's hanging up in the air. Tremendous effort there by Shoemate to be able to get up there and knock that ball away. Good recognition of locating the football and then knocking it away.
Shimbo was the Irish defender, bringing pressure that time. Second down and 10. Bennett checks back in as the running back. Bennett looking for daylight on that left side and squeezes to about the 31-yard line that time. And Ryan Schleeper and Adam Bisnawati are doing a fine job over there on that side of the offensive line here for Kristen and the Panthers.
I don't know if I've ever seen a team have to deal with so many injuries as this Notre Dame defense. When they broke camp, started with their not only starting 11 but the 2 deep, they've lost at some point 13 of their starting 22. They're 2 deep, and now tonight they lose Tuitt, so it's been very tough for them.
They need 6 yards now on this third down pass. Savage going to try to get more than that. End zone, and crowd wanted a flag on Devin Butler, the freshman, but there is no penalty. He, of course, is out of the Washington, D.C. area. He's got a great upside. He went to Gonzaga High School.
And I think because the freshman works to get his head turned around. You see that? I think that's what the officials are always looking for. As long as he gets his head turned around, the officials tell us that he has just as much of a right to be able to get to that football, and you're going to do a little bit of wrestling there back and forth. That's the difference between the pro game and a college game. As long as that defensive back locates the football, then the officials are a little bit more lenient on whether or not they're going to make that call as pass interference.
He wants this 4th down and 6. Savage from the gun, going deep down that far side, and Devin Street had a shot at it, but there's a penalty flag down there. Bennett Jackson was the defender, and here's the penalty flag.
Farley is saying that he got a hand on the ball, and if he got a hand on the ball, there's no pass interference. That's what Brian Kelly is saying. Farley, it was the safety who came running over, not Bennett Jackson, the corner, but Farley came over and he tipped the ball, and they may pick the flag up.
Pass interference on the defense. Number 2, 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
Let's take another look at this now. Devin Street, he beats the man cleanly.
If you take a close look, watch Farley, 41, come over.
The ball got through. The ball got through on it.
And you can see right here, tips the ball there. He's pretty adamant about getting his hand on the football. Nonetheless, Pitt, a few breaks have gone their way. They catch another one here.
And the big back, Connor, checks in on this first down on the 16-yard line. Connor bangs straight ahead now to the 11.
You mentioned Paul Christ. This is starting to look like Paul Christ offense. You know, this is the first time in a long time. This is an offense that has averaged around 40 yards rushing a game against the last 4 teams that they've played in the FBS. And this is the first time we've seen them be able to control the line of scrimmage and actually get a push and have a back running downhill.
And of course, they've got a beat up Irish defensive front to take dead aim at. They've got second down and 6. Isaac Bennett back as the running back. Savage fires complete to the 2-yard line. That was like Boyd, the freshman, Tyler Boyd. And it's going to be a first down and goal. And here comes the hammer. James Conner checks back in.
Rushing for zone, and he just sits down. Boyd does. It has such a good feel for only being a freshman. Does a good job of sitting down in the zone. And T.J. Clemmings, the junior right tackle, looks like he's down.
He was a defensive end here a year ago, and it's looking like a left leg injury. And it could be a cramp, too, as you look at that trainer down there pushing the toe back. We'll take a break and get you up to date when we come back.
Saturday Night Football presented by the new windows. Brought to you by Silver Star Ultra Headlights from Sylvania. Jared the Galleria Jewelry. Truly unique designs that you won't find just anywhere. That's why he went to Jared. And Nissan, premier partner of the Heisman Trophy.
Soldiers and Sailors Memorial Hall Museum, certainly one of Pittsburgh's oldest and best known historical landmarks. All those great exhibits, and what a great weekend to visit it. And Heather Cox got an explanation for us up here on that pass interference. They said the interference was before the ball was tipped. Early interference. Conner, of course, the running back. Second effort, still going, touchdown. Hello. Pittsburgh discovers a big back. I mean, that old Steeler Jerome Bettis would be proud of this run.
A true freshman, and he's having a great night running the football tonight. Tremendous effort. Give the offensive line an assist, but this time he just bounces off a few arm tackles. It was just a year ago that Notre Dame was one of the best red zone defenses in the country. In fact, had a lot to do with them eventually getting to the national championship. That has not been the case this year without Manti Te'o and Zeke Mata and company. And a lot of injuries up front, obviously, have also affected them.
Blew it. Ties it at 14. Well, Tommy Rees and the Irish deadlocked here, and Rees is going to have to pick up that passing game a little bit. Only 7 of 18 for 131 yards. You'll see him next when you come back. You're watching Saturday Night Football on ABC, presented by the new windows. Notre Dame and Pittsburgh in another close battle, tied here tonight. You go back in time and you can see just how tight this series has been. The two teams will not play each other next year. South Bend, Louisville, North Carolina, Wake Forest will visit for the ACC, and the Irish will pay a visit on Florida State and Syracuse.
When I look at that graphic, can they please keep playing? I mean, these are great games. It's fun to watch these two teams battle going all the way back to 08. I mean, it always seems to come down to into the second half, and in many cases into the fourth quarter.
It's always intrigued me how a lot of Catholic youngsters play so well against Notre Dame. Boston College, back in the day, there's a lot of Catholic youngsters on this Pittsburgh roster. And here's Atkinson now, the Irish. Out to the 20-yard line. Well, two teams hoping to turn their seasons around meet on Monday Night Football. Ryan Tannehill and the Miami Dolphins look to go above 500. They'll face Vincent Jackson and the Buccaneers, who are looking for their first win of the season. Dolphins and Buccaneers.
And the Dolphins cannot wait to just get out on the football field and play a game.
I would agree with that.
There's been plenty of off the field talk. It's time to get back out and play a game.
McDaniel. Play action from Rees. Goes downfield and got him. Here's Jones in a foot race. He's going to take it to the end zone. One play from scrimmage, 80 yards after that 13-play, 69-yard drive for Pittsburgh, and the Irish have regained the lead.
Well, it's the second time we've seen Brian Kelly and his offensive coordinator, Chuck Martin, get aggressive on 1st and 10. We saw it one time after the change of a possession, and this time after a big touchdown drive by Pitt, they come right back with a very first play action on 1st and 10. They get a matchup and a safety out of position, well designed and perfectly timed by, again, Brian Kelly and Chuck Martin.
Brinza. The Irish again up by 7. Third time tonight, I believe, that they led by 7.
Well, you're going to get play action movement here, which will get the safety to come up. When the safety comes up, then it's just simply a one-on-one battle right here. Watch the action, 1st and 10. Everyone's thinking run. Everybody thinks let's get aggressive, but now he gets behind here. Once he gets behind, Tommy Rees settles back, puts the ball out in front of T.J. Jones. He was in rhythm, perfect play action call, and I'll tell you, T.J. Jones continues to become the go-to receiver and the big play receiver that this offense needs. He only has 8 completions tonight, but when he hits them for big yards.
And that's the biggest of Jones' career. 80 yards, that's his career long for the Irish. Takes a seat.
Remember when Brian Kelly said, guys, we got to get big chunks. That's become a strength of our offense. They're averaging tonight 26 yards per completion for Tommy Rees. Those are big chunks. I think Coach will be happy about that.
You know, Rees was only 7 of 18 until that completion.
Yeah, only 8 on the night.
Just like we talked, you know, he just doesn't wow yet, but then he comes back and wins games.
Yeah. And that's a good job of reading tendencies from upstairs, from this offensive staff, recognizing the right time to call that play and getting their quarterback into rhythm off that play action pass.
Ball blew off the tee. Heather told us it was gusting down here on the field, you know, for 15, 20 miles an hour. Pretty strong wind coming through tonight on what is otherwise a wonderful football evening in Pittsburgh with the Steelers and the Bills.
I always love that.
Tomorrow.
I always love to see the quarterback in a tight game after a big play go down, touch the hands of every guy on that offensive team.
Now with that wind at his back, blew it out of the end zone. So again, I want to go back and remind everybody on Tuesday. I know it's not necessarily the hoop season yet, but that's a great doubleheader. Michigan State against Kentucky at 7:30. Then Kansas Duke at 9:30. Jamie Dixon, the outstanding basketball coach here in Pittsburgh, came and paid us a visit. And I asked him about the youngster Andrew Wiggins, and he said, very, very athletic. He said, don't look for the next LeBron James, but he's plenty good right now. And of course, he's going to play for Bill Self and the Jayhawks this year.
Who's the best team? Have you been doing your homework yet? Who's the best team in college basketball?
I'm going to rate Michigan State #1 until Kentucky proves otherwise with all the freshmen.
Yeah.
I think the Spartans could have a very, very good year. Tyler Boyd.
Talking about that being the best class that they've had there.
Yeah, they've had some good classes.
I was going to say that's a bold statement. He needed one after last year. You know, when you have a lot of one and done.
Exactly.
You kind of hit and miss. Last year was a miss.
2nd down and 5 now for Savage. We come with Bennett. Bennett's got the first down. And let's check in with Robert Flores. Robert, now Central Florida becoming a big, big story.
I agree. They need to move up in those BCS rankings.
2:20 left here with Connor off play action. Savage fires down the middle, complete. Devin Street breaks away. 30, 25, 20-foot race for the end zone. Pushed, dives, got it. 63 yards, and the Panthers are not going away.
Great job by Devin Street. They bounce right back. Play action. The linebackers came up, out of position. Great read by Savage and tremendous effort. You know, this has been a problem for Notre Dame all year, tackling from their safeties. We saw it early in the year. They thought they've improved, but that's another example of Farley there just letting Street get by him.
No question. Devin Street did a good job on the tightrope walk down the sideline. So instant replay will make absolutely certain that Street finished that touchdown. Wow, a couple of big plays, huh?
Yeah.
80 yards for the Irish, 63 yards here if it stands for the Panthers.
Brent, there's Street with a crossing route, but your guy, look at this, Brent. Look, the running back right here occupies the linebackers and then opens it up for the crossing route behind it. The linebackers have to respect that. They come up thinking he may dump it. He's been doing it a lot tonight. But a poor effort there by Matthias Farley in the open field to make that tackle against Devon Street.
And the touchdown stands. Street's second touchdown reception of the night. And Pittsburgh is just an extra point away. Chris Blewett is on the field now. He's from Alexander, Virginia, West Potomac High School. And he knocks it up at 21. So just what we expected from Pittsburgh and the Irish. And we check in now on the BCS standings with Alabama leading LSU by 7 to the big one. Florida State rolling. The big news, of course, was the fact that Oregon is going to drop back. Herbie, as you look at that, how far do you think Oregon will fall in the BCS ranking? Want to make a prediction on that? I know.
You know, when you take a look at the All-State BCS standings, you wonder how it could affect Oregon on their slide. You and I were talking about this on the bus. It depends. I think 6 is a possibility, depending on how people view Clemson. You know, maybe it's a 7. One thing we do know is that what happened on Thursday night with Oregon losing, because everybody was talking about Oregon winning out and controlling their own destiny, by them slipping down, depending on what happens tonight in Tuscaloosa, Alabama still has a long way to go. But Alabama and Florida State, I think, are the only 2 teams that can truly say, we look at our schedule, we went out, we can get to the national championship. Everybody else is going to need help.
You know, I'm laughing because on game day, one of my favorite T-shirts, or one of my favorite signs, and there were a lot of them. We buy used Oregon T-shirts, and of course they kept holding up when we were out there. We want Bama.
Everybody holds up that we want Bama. Then they get scratched off the list.
You forgot Stanford, huh?
Well, they look good. I was out there watching the game from the sidelines. Boy, they were so well prepared. You know how Stanford is. David Shaw, Mike Bloomgren, his offensive coordinator, Derek Mason, his defensive coordinator. They go on the road to the Coliseum next week against a very, very not only talented but improving USC team. That'll be a big challenge for us.
By the way,
Stanford.
you and I will be there for that
can't
game.
wait.
Okay, Stanford, USC, Los Angeles Coliseum, 5 o'clock Pacific time. And with that wind blowing, they will use somebody to hold it. And of course, that's the fine defensive player, Lafayette Pitts, who will hold it for the kickoff man. And here comes Atkinson Boggles, picks it up. Sometimes that gives a return man an edge. Upsets the timing. Atkinson in that great foot race coming out near midfield. So often you see it on a kickoff return when it's bobbled down there, they're able to get big yardage out of it.
It always happens. Guys get out of their lanes. They all think, oh, ball's on the ground. Let's go, let's go, let's go get it. But you better be careful and show some discipline. Look at the speed there from Atkinson. Everybody gets excited because the ball's on the ground, and the worst thing you can do is panic and run to the football because you get out of your lane. And look at that speed to the outside. So the last 3 plays, we've had a touchdown and now a big kickoff return here for Notre Dame to get the ball close to midfield.
Yeah, who knows? Garner and Hendricks might have saved a touchdown over there on that young man. Man, we've had one big play after another here so far in the third quarter. We still got 2 minutes to go. Reese is back. He's firing deep down the middle now. Jump ball incomplete. And he was covered by Williams down there. And that was William Fuller, number 15. He was the wide receiver on this play.
And the ball is underthrown. He I don't know if he hung it up there a little bit too long. He just threw such a nice ball to T.J. Jones. This time he hangs it up, and to K'Wan Williams can cover. And if you give him a ball that's underthrown like that, it's a pretty easy play for him to come back. Again, he does a good job of finding that football, knocked it away.
Irish come back with McDaniels, a running play to midfield. And let's check in with Robert Flores. Yeah, indeed, Robert. And meanwhile, Alabama just had a touchdown called back in that battle of the SEC against LSU. Here it's 3rd and 6. Notre Dame and Pitt are tied at 21. Complete to the 36-yard line, and that was Fuller again. So they're going to William Fuller. Looks like he's trying to shake off a little bit of an injury. It looks like the defensive back Trenton Coles, who's been special on special teams tonight, shaken up.
Let's hope that Coles is okay. He has had a very busy night Notre Dame with 3 receivers, all cutting to the inside against man coverage. And it's up to Tommy Rees to select who he wants to throw the football to there. And he goes back to the freshman Fuller. He's able to hold on to that football. But right now our thoughts are with Trenton Coles, the freshman.
I think he's hit by his teammate.
Yeah,
here.
he was.
But I think that was Hendricks flashing across there, who collided with him. Take a look at this 25. Yes, indeed.
Yeah.
Got him right up there in that,
right
in that helmet area. Yeah. And there's you can see a little concern down there with the officials and the coaches on the sideline as the medical staff continues to tend to the young man down here. Clerton, Pennsylvania sent so many fine players to this Pittsburgh team. About a half dozen of them who were teammates, and let's see.
See the medical staff there, Brent, feeling his legs and then asking him if he could move them before they even considered turning him over.
And then the hands, we are told, are also moving down inside there. Get a good view with the coaches down, and of course those are positive signs here for the young man. And this is one of the reasons why there's so much of an emphasis on protecting players with those helmet blows and the targeting. We had an incident in the first half. If you weren't with us, Stephon Tuitt, the fine defensive lineman for Notre Dame, lowered his head at about the same time that the quarterback did. It was scrambling over to the right. They collided, and it wound up being a targeting penalty, and Tuitt has been kicked out of the game. And there will be a big round of applause now for this young man when he gets up.
So you're thinking we're thinking a lot there about Coles, but that was a big third down conversion with another freshman, William Fuller, who, by the way, Notre Dame receiver, getting some more action out of Philadelphia. So I'm sure happy to be back here in the state of Pennsylvania.
Yeah, he went to Roman Catholic High School in Philadelphia. And just as Herbie pointed out, Fuller's made 2 catches on this drive. First down and 10. Play action, McDaniel flashing to the middle, and a beautiful pass to Koyak, the tight end, who was wide open in the middle.
Good play action. Linebackers come up to make the play and take Cam McDaniel away. It opens up that void right behind there. I'll tell you, Ben Koyak's a nice big target at 6'5", does a good job of not only catching the football but protecting it before Jason Hendricks came up to try to dislodge that football away from him.
Fulston checks in. Jones again on that end of route that was successful earlier, but not this time, because Lafayette Pitts, number 23, comes up and makes the stop.
Pitts recognized it along with Todd Thomas, who chased it down. It was a play that, as you said, once or twice it's been pretty effective, but that time they were not able to outflank the Pitt defense. They were ready for it.
And you could see the Pittsburgh player being tended to over there, the defensive players. We've come to the end of the third quarter. Irish driving. We'll be back after this message and a word from your local ABC stations.
Back at Heinz Field, where freshman Trenton Coles is being taken back into the locker room. I just spoke with Rob Blank, their head athletic trainer. He has been diagnosed with a head and neck injury. They're, for now, calling it a concussion, but they are taking him back to the medical area for x-rays and further evaluation. Brent, he is finished for the night.
All right, Heather, thank you. And on this first play of the fourth quarter, it is Jones again wide open. Let me point out that Tommy Rees has caught fire. He is now 7 of 10 here in the second half. 7 of 10, and this could set up another possible touchdown.
Yeah, and a great read here. They get a little bit of tempo, but this soft zone there, he gets the matchup that he wants and puts it in the spot.
Here's McDaniel, tough runner, but he was met by a tough stuff, Shane Gordon, and couldn't get the touchdown.
Guys are getting a little chippy out there. Brent, not only is he hitting his passes, but they're big plays. It's almost like the first half they used to set up how they wanted to attack this Pitt offense. They recognized the coverage that they might get based on certain down and distances and formations and personnel groups. They've been much more aggressive with trying to get the ball thrown downfield vertically, and Reese has hit a few.
You can see how much more impressive he's been. Only 5 of 14 in that first half. Second down and goal now. Reese moves the pocket right, lobs back, intercepted, picked off in the back of the end zone. Oh, what a huge turnover. Venipal, Ray Venipal, the starting safety, got back there, and Venipal's out of Youngstown, Ohio, Cardinal Mooney High School.
A great high school football program. What a great job with his eyes, Brent. You're going to see him right here, and he starts to trail, and then he starts to just read the eyes of the quarterback. He's not watching him. He looks up, he finds the receiver, then he starts to move over. Tommy Reese never even saw him. And by the way, if Venipal didn't make the interception, I'm not so sure that K'Wan Williams would have made it himself. That was a poor decision after we just talked about how great Tommy Reese is playing. Venipal makes the big interception.
Connor is the running back. Deadlocked at 21, and Savage now starting to throw it on target. Tyler Boyd, the freshman.
Brian Kelly had to be very frustrated. It's almost with Tommy Reese. He'll play well, he'll play well, he'll play well, and then bang. There's always that one decision that makes Brian Kelly just want to pull his hair out.
The little girl with the curl. When she's good, real good. When she's bad, forget about it.
Yeah, that's the forget about it face right there.
First down and 10. Savage on first down. No to it. Fires right in the middle, complete to midfield. He goes right back to Boyd.
I love watching Tommy Savage get back in that pocket. I mean, he stands back there with some confidence, doesn't he? They bring the pressure. It's picked up by the freshman, James Conner. And once that pressure's picked up, now it's just a matter of stepping up, get your feet set, putting the ball right where Boyd can make a play on it.
When he was a youngster, growing up in eastern Pennsylvania, his heroes in the NFL were Tom Brady and Aaron Rodgers. Loved watching both of them play quarterback, Isaac Bennett. And he said, I liked Rodgers when he was backing up Brett Favre. So here's the big 6'5" trigger man, going to drop it down to the running back, Bennett. And Bennett to the 46-yard line. Stop was made by Justin Utupo.
Looks, you know, he tries to look this off, but you could tell he wanted to dump it off to his back, Isaac Bennett. And Russell was there ready to make a play on it. He had a chance for either a short gain, even maybe a loss, but another missed tackle in the open field by the Notre Dame secondary.
Ibrahim, who's a pretty good pass receiver, checks in as that running back now. Rashid Ibrahim, and you can see him standing back there as there's a changeup.
Quarterback makes a check, and the defense checks back into a soft zone. Ibrahim with a pretty good job of blocking that time on a rush man. Not going to get the first down. Got back to the line of scrimmage and down about. It'll be third down coming up. Reminder to stay tuned here on ABC. Right after the game for your late local news over most of these ABC stations, except of course out in the West Coast. And then be sure to go over to ESPN News for SportsCenter for the highlights of the day in sports. What a busy day it has been. Shake-up weekend, if you will, with Oregon losing Alabama. And there was a mistake by the LSU offense. And Bama leads 31-17 with 9:17 to go in that showdown. Alabama, of course, if they win it, will stay #1. Florida State will move to 2. No question about that. Hit on the throw, and it's an incomplete pass. It's a free ball, Brent. Is it free? Yeah. There was not a whistle. Well, it was Bennett saved the day then when he got over on it. I thought the way everybody reacted that it was incomplete. Shimbo came in on it. Well, Shimbo, the quickness that he always brings off the edge here. Real-time audio, listen for it. Delayed reaction, and Sheldon Day
Sheldon Day kind of put it in his back pocket and headed to the end zone.
Oh, yeah.
Watch number 91 here now.
What a great effort by Shimbo. The ball is out. Looks like before his hand comes forward. Here's Sheldon Day, Brink. You're right. He kind of flips it up like he's out in the backyard. Flips it up into the air, almost punches the ball. It's the first time we've seen Shimbo be able to get in there and get the pressure on a big third down.
And it was jarred loose for sure.
Boy, did Pitt catch a break there without Notre Dame recognizing that that was a loose ball. Should have been a touchdown for the Irish. Play to the whistle.
That's right. Make him bring it back. Jones. Lets this punt go out of bounds. Our young man, Matt Yaklick, has come alive after that scuff back in the first half. He's a pretty good punter tonight. We'll be right back. We're going to take a look here at our Pacific Life game summary. Herbie, we're going to start off by showing Stephon Tuitt, number 7. Now, this is the play that led to his ejection. They called it targeting. Tom Savage went down on the play. He had to go into the locker room.
I think it changed the complexion of the game. Tommy Rees on the offense was able to keep Notre Dame firing away. And at one point, they're averaging 26 yards of completion. That's down now around 20. And Tom Savage, I think, has really gotten into a rhythm now with Tuitt out. They're running the football and taking some of the pressure off of their passing game.
Atkinson is the running back. He'll try to take it around the left side. Pittsburgh was ready for the speedster that time. Gonzalez, the linebacker, making the stop. You know, to update some of the news around the country, Texas and West Virginia gone to overtime. That's the first overtime in Texas history, we're told, and the second straight overtime for West Virginia.
Wow. I didn't know that was the first time for Texas.
I didn't either.
They've given up some points. Greg Robinson's defense has been playing very, very well. And today, they've given up some points on the road. We'll see if they're able to come up with a victory there in Morgantown, right down the road.
McDaniel. Downfield middle, intercepted. Picked off by Venipal. His second consecutive interception. Trying to get to the end zone. Out of bounds, I believe, back on the 5-yard line. That's Venipal's second interception of the night against Tommy Rees. The Irish passing game is melting down here in Pittsburgh.
For Tommy Rees is trying to get the ball into his big tight end yet again. They've been doing this a lot when they go vertical with the tight end, but this time, because of the coverage there by the middle linebacker, Gordon, he floats the ball, and when he floats it, he puts too much air under it, and he overthrows the tight end, and as you said, there's another opportunity for Venipal, and he capitalizes on it, and another poor decision by Tommy Rees. The last 2 throws that he's had intercepted by Pitt, and a poor decision. He just sits back. This one's much, much easier for Venipal compared to the last one. Rees just threw it right to him. He's playing cover 2 right on the hash, just backpedaling, and the ball ends up in his hands.
Isaac Bennett is the running back for Pittsburgh, and I believe there's a timeout called by Paul Christ.
Pittsburgh, their first charge timeout of the half.
So they use their first of 3 with a golden opportunity for the Pitt Panthers. When you come back, we're tied at 21. The Panthers are on the 5-yard line. What a night for Venipal.
Well, Venipal, the last time Notre Dame going in for a big touchdown, he gets into the line of scrimmage, and then he drops back, reads the route, reads the quarterback's eyes, right place at the right time, interception. This time he's a half-field safety. He's just dropping back. The ball sails on Tommy Rees right into the hands of the Cardinal Mooney. Youngstown Cardinal Mooney graduate, almost takes it into the end zone. The same high school as Bob Stoops, Mark Stoops, Mike Stoops. Great high school there.
Did the Stoops' father, wasn't he one of the coaches around town?
Yeah. Bo Pelini was also there. They're just good, tough high school kids. Fit in perfectly into this program.
Well, here's your first down and goal after the timeout. Savage, and there was a penalty flag on the play. False start.
False start.
So that's going to bring it back to the 10-yard line.
Number 69.
Looks like they were going to run a quarterback draw. It looked like a design play when they came out. And the left tackle, Bisnawadi, moved a little bit quickly on the play.
Think about that. Yeah, that's like running a quarterback draw with Bernie Kosar. I mean, this is a big fella out here at 6'5", 230. I mean, that's some courage if that's the call there by Paul Christ.
Bernie thanks you for the pub. First down and goal, I think. First down and goal. Fire. Diving toward the end zone was Holtz. And he is just short. Remember, he dropped one earlier in this game. And now he's got it back for a 2nd and goal from the 1-yard line. And here comes the hammer. Big number 40, James Conner.
What a great matchup. Holtz stretching. Is his knee down? He's trying to get into the end zone. It's like his knee was down. Comes up a little bit short, but a great matchup. Takes advantage of it with Holtz matched up against the linebacker, Dan Fox. Soft coverage.
Last time down here, they made a quick handoff to Parrish, remember? And Parrish is right in front of Conner on this 2nd down and goal. This time it is Conner. Touchdown. The officials are looking at it was a touchdown. He busted through the plane before he bobbled it out of the back of the end zone.
What a big night for this freshman, James Conner. This is all set up by the interception. Vinipal got him down in there, and Pitt's able to take advantage of it to get this touchdown. The throw to Holtz.
Oh, Nix is down again, too, for the Irish. Oh, wow, Herbie.
Yeah, he's had a knee that's kept him out for the last 2 games. They've already lost to it. It's been a tough, again, we keep saying it's just been a tough year for Bob Diaco, considering last year every break went for them. They stayed healthy. They caught breaks. It's just been almost a polar opposite in 2013. You're left with a depleted defensive line. And they got a good push, opened up a big hole in that defense. But I was saying, a big night for this freshman, James Conner. For this team who's been averaging 40 yards rushing the last 4 games, they've done a good job.
This is the defensive coordinator taking a peek at a monitor up there, as Conner has scored 2 touchdowns in this game here tonight. Blew it, tacks on the extra point. Pittsburgh with a 7-point lead in the 4th quarter. 28-21. The Irish came back last year in South Bend. Can they do it in Pittsburgh? You're watching the ACC on ESPN.
Saturday Night Football. Presented by the new Windows. The all-new Buick Encore. The next big thing in luxury is small. And the Home Depot. More saving, more doing. That's the power of the Home Depot.
We welcome you back to Pittsburgh. Saturday Night Football on ABC. Pittsburgh upsetting Notre Dame 28-21, but still a long 9.5 to go here. Atkinson is back deep. Try to return it. 15 short of the 20-yard line and swarmed all over. Let's check in with Robert Flores. Robert, I see Alabama pulling away, babe.
They are.
Yeah, indeed, Robert. You mentioned Texas, and that's a good point, because they can still win the Big 12. Despite that shaky start, they could wind up in a BCS Bowl by winning the Big 12 and going to the field.
And Mac Brown said that after their Ole Miss loss. And everybody said, oh, yeah, right. Tommy Rees' last 2 passes, interceptions. Let's see how he responds.
We're not going to wait. We're going to put it right back up in the air to Jones, and he's ridden out of bounds by Williams.
You know, he's had a lot of success when he's made good decisions of throwing the ball down the field, hitting some big plays. And if Pitt's adjustment is to keep 2 safeties back high, then he's going to have to mix up running the football and getting the ball thrown underneath. He has to force those safeties down, and then he can go back to taking his shots.
McDaniel's the running back. On the left side. Now that defensive front starting to tee it up a little bit for the Panthers. Pittsburgh with its first lead of the night, up 28-21. If you're just joining us, with Alabama pulling away, Aaron Donald, number 97, is the defensive lineman to watch for the Panthers. It is 3rd down and 2. There is the young man who may wind up winning the Bednarik, presented by the Maxwell Club out of Philadelphia. Huge season. 3rd down and 2 now.
Tommy Reese didn't like the look, calls the timeout.
Notre Dame, their first short timeout will have.
You're watching Saturday Night Football on ABC, presented by the new Windows. The Allstate bus is here as the Allstate Ultimate Road Trip Sweepstakes rolls on. Go to Allstate. collegefootball.com, a chance to trip to the Allstate Sugar Bowl in the Vizio BCS National Championship. Huge, huge 3rd down coming up here for Notre Dame.
T.J. Jones up at the top.
Backfield is empty. And that right tackle may have moved quickly. He might have moved Ronnie Stanley a little bit early.
Offense number 78.
He did.
5-yard penalty.
First time tonight that the crowd is a factor in the communication. And the right tackle, you always worry about the offensive lineman when the crowd becomes a big factor in the game, whether or not they're jumping the snap count themselves, and that time Ronnie Stanley did that.
And that makes it a much tougher 3rd down. 7 yards needed here by the Irish. Let's get it to the 26-yard line. Reese fires, and he did just that for a 1st down to Nicholas.
Good for him stepping up here and delivering after, remember what's happened to him on some of his last few passes being intercepted. He finds the matchup, the bigger tight end that he wants to get the football to, and Nicholas, who's matched up against a smaller outside linebacker, puts the ball in a place where he can get it and get it in a hurry and protect himself before that corner hit him.
McDaniel, the running back. He flares out, joins the receivers. Downfield, caught. Jones at the 45-yard line for a 1st and 10. And let me check that. That was Daniels.
Yep, Daniels gets the football. Big, tall, wide receiver. And if you get a 1st down, and all of a sudden, it tends to just slow things down and make you have a little bit more confidence. Defensive back never found the football. Pitts that time, by the time he turned around, Daniels has already made the catch.
Here's your time of possession here in the 2nd half. The Panthers have dominated. They've outscored the Irish 21-7. Reese has to check it down, and it's incomplete. He tried to hit the safety valve, and Todd Thomas, the linebacker, was all over him there. Number 8 with a fine defensive play.
And Tommy Reese just lost his footing. You know, this field is in immaculate shape, considering what it normally looks like in November. But right there, he slips. You could see his footprint there where he did slide, and I think it affected him. He started to panic just a bit and had to get rid of the football.
Ben Roethlisberger just took note of that for tomorrow. 2nd down and 10. Line gives him time. Goes downfield near side. Not close to the receiver. Incomplete. Let's check in with Robert Flores for an update. And of course, Robert, UCLA in that dogfight in the Pac-12 South. Trying to get a big win down in the desert here. Reese trying to get a big win in Pittsburgh, going deep down the middle, deflected, incomplete. Threw into heavy coverage. Daniels was working down. Jason Hendricks, number 25, folks, is an outstanding safety.
And Daryl Rindner is lined up here. He's going to come all the way around and almost gets to Tommy Reese. I think there's confusion up front. Reese had to wait for that play to try to develop, and he just really threw that up and hoped that one of his receivers would come down to it.
Irish are forced to punt. at the 7:04 mark. Weatherspoon is back deep. Panthers will go into that ball control mode. Hoping it goes to the end zone. Bounced very close to it. And it did go in. There is the signal.
Came very, very close here. The initial spot where that football was.
Always,
yeah,
wrapped up down there. He's
his legs, his shoestrings, his foot, everything.
Now, this is what Paul Chryst featured when he was in National Football League with San Diego, when he was the offensive coordinator at Oregon State for Coach Riley, and of course at Wisconsin. Ball control, man. Chew up the time. This is Notre Dame has already used one of its 3 timeouts. There's still plenty of time, but they really need to stop, Herbie.
And remember, this is a defensive line that lost to it. You have Nix, who's missed a couple games. He's battled through some injuries tonight the best he can, but they are depleted up front, which makes it a little bit easier for Pitt to run the football.
Let's check in with Heather.
Well, you guys saw Lewis Nix on that last series limp off. He had that left knee reevaluated. Remember, he had an MRI on Sunday. He's battling a partial tear in that MCL. He's also got tendonitis, had PRP or platelet-rich plasma therapy. He's doing everything he can to get that knee better. He was frustrated and an obvious amount of pain on the sideline, but gonna give it a go.
So the game clock is being reset. So they'll get the clock set to 6:52. Put about 9 seconds, additional 9 seconds back on the time that was there. First down and 10. Connor, who has scored 2 touchdowns, the freshman, the running back here. They're going to throw it to the outside to Devin Street on first down. And Street picks up 3 or 4 yards.
You might say, why are they throwing the football? There's a couple things. Number one, again, that's an extension of their running game. They get the ball outside as often as they can to Tyler Boyd, stretching the defense horizontally. And the other thing is, Paul Chryst is known as a play caller, as a guy who's willing to take some chances and a lot of times go against what you might think with conventional offensive football. You might think ball control, work the clock, but you know, there's nothing wrong with making an easy throw to the outside like that to Boyd. He stays in bounds. It keeps the clock rolling.
Bennett checked in from the sideline on this second down and 6. Savage going to take off. Got the first down. Extended across the 31-yard line. If you just joined us and you don't know the story about Tom Savage, he played first at Rutgers, transferred to Arizona, and now here he is at Pittsburgh.
And he better take care of this football. The big fella gets to him, and now look at it. He's got a hold of it, and he's in traffic out there with the ball extended. And he's not used to scrambling. He's not necessarily known as a scrambler, but when he gets out there in a game this tight late in the ball game, great job picking up the first down, but make sure he protects the football.
James Conner checks in. And the freshman is brought down for a loss by another freshman, Jalon Smith. Well, we want to welcome those of you who watched the #1 team in the nation, Alabama, put away LSU tonight, and of course the Crimson Tide continues to roll. They'll stay #1. Here we've got another close game between 2 schools who annually seem to play close games, Notre Dame and Pittsburgh. A year ago, 3 overtimes in South Bend before the Irish won. Here we're counting down to 5 minutes in the 4th quarter, and Pittsburgh leading by 7, 28-21. A loss by the Irish, of course, would doom any hopes they have of playing in one of the other BCS bowls this year. Pittsburgh needs 2 wins to become bowl eligible. That is Bennett being thrown for a loss by Sheldon Day, number 91. And if you weren't with us, Stephon Tuitt, the Irish outstanding defensive lineman, was kicked out in the first half for targeting. Now let's go back and look at Sheldon Day here.
And Brent, Sheldon Day has missed really the last 8 weeks. He's tried to come back and spot duty against Air Force and Navy the last few weeks, but you know, with Tuitt going down, he's had to step up his role, and he's more than capable as long as he's healthy.
Let's go back to last year. Everett Golson, of course, was the Irish quarterback, rallied them in the 4th quarter. Then this fumble by Sierra Wood gave Pittsburgh a chance to win it. But the field goal was wide right, and the officials missed 2 number 2s coming off the field. And then it was Golson who scored the winning touchdown in 3 overtimes. Now, Notre Dame calls this desperado. And they sent out a couple of players onto the field, Bennett Jackson and Chris Brown. One of them needed to change his jersey. The field goal is wide right. Now we're going to freeze this for you, and we will show you Jackson and Brown coming off the field. That penalty, if it had been called, would have given Pittsburgh a first down in that overtime. That's how well things went for the Fighting Irish last year in their drive to the championship game. Tonight, not so much. Tuitt kicked out of the game. Nick shaken up again, although he's back on the field right now.
3 turnovers. It's been a tough night for the Irish. See if they can get the football back.
3rd down and 13. Tom Savage going to take off on 3rd down. Still looking to throw. You got to protect the football again, Herbie.
Yeah.
I was thinking about what you said when Shimbo wrestled it down. So the Irish are going to get the football now.
And there's Shimbo fighting through a hold. You know, 3rd down, you know the number 55 in white is going to get pressure. And they don't have to blitz. And when you don't have to blitz in college football, and you can get pressure with 4, with the quickness of a guy like Shimbo, it gives you such a great chance. Savage had to just bail, but Shimbo fought through a hold there and still came up with a big play.
So on 4th down and 9, Matt Yaklik is back to punt. And of course, TJ Jones is the punt return man, and he's a dangerous one for the Irish. Fair catch. And he steps out of bounds around the 22-yard line. So let's go back, Herbie, and get everybody up to date now with the second half highlights.
Well, Tommy Rees took some shots and they hit. I mean, he found his favorite target, T.J. Jones, but this is the very next time Pitt had the ball, the first play. Devin Street comes right back, and then it kind of fell apart for Tommy Rees. Throws the football into coverage. Interception leads to this go-ahead score for Pitt. And their young freshman who's had a great night tonight running the ball, James Conner. And now the ball goes back into the hands of the senior quarterback, Tommy Rees, who's had an up and down night. Let's see what he can do here with a little under 4 minutes to go with his team down a touchdown.
Overall, 15 of 32, 289 yards, 2 touchdowns, but those 2 costly interceptions. Throwing on 1st down, wants to set the screen. McDaniel can't get the handle on it, and it will be 2nd down and 10. And the clock ticks down inside of 4 minutes.
Well, you can see Aaron Donald, one of the better defensive linemen, trying to get in there, but then he does a good job of coming off of it. You watch his quickness be able to get it there. Then right away he reads screen and he tries to get back there to chase it down. Now, and really with his quickness, he's like a linebacker at 285 pounds playing as a 3 technique in the middle of this defense.
Paul Christ, 3 minutes and 54 seconds away from his first signature victory here at Pittsburgh. Panthers up 28-21. 2nd down and 10. Reese coming near side, now complete, got a 1st down, stopped the clock by going out of bounds with T.J. Jones.
I think it's important. If you look at what Pitt's doing with their secondary, their defensive shell, they have everything back. They have 2 safeties back, and they're trying to keep things in front of them. They don't want to give Tommy Rees up a quick one like he's hit already earlier in this half. So he's got to recognize that, and he's got to get the ball underneath. Plenty of time to get the ball to Jones and his tight ends.
Keeping 97 at defensive tackle, pushing back on Reese, who completes another one for a 1st down. He hits Ben Koyak, and Gordon makes the stop.
And we've got a flag that came in a little bit late, and probably going to be a horse collar. Koyak's had 4 catches for 76 yards tonight.
Personal foul, face mask.
Oh, they get the face
on the
mask.
defense, number 44, 15-yard penalty, 1st down.
So watch Shane Gordon, number 44, coming up on the tight end, and it will be the left hand that comes around on the face mask.
Next thing you know, Notre Dame already in Pitt territory, just a couple plays, but a good job underneath, finding those tight ends and finding T.J. Jones. Good job of recognizing that by Tommy Rees.
Backfield is empty. On 1st down, Flips it off to the outside using the tight ends. That's Nicholas.
Yep. And if they're going to play soft coverage with their linebackers and their secondary folks, they're kind of forcing your hand to get the ball thrown and get the ball out of your hands quickly with the speed up front of Aaron Donald. These tight ends tonight, now 7 catches, both of them great size and a mismatch because one's 6'6" in Nicholas and the other 6'5" in Koyak.
Second down and 6. Good protection from the Irish offensive line. Reese trying to find a receiver and finally has to throw it away. No one broke open for him.
He's getting a little bit from the head coach there. He's coach always challenging his quarterbacks to make good decisions. Late flag on the line judge came over, and usually when a flag comes in like this, it's a grounding call.
Intentional grounding.
Good call, Herbie. That's what it was.
Number 11. Loss it down at the spot of the foul. 3rd down.
Instead of being at 3rd and 6, you move them way back here. 3rd and 5. Now it's 3rd and 10.
Must reach the 28-yard line of Pittsburgh for a first down on this 3rd down.
Again, Brett, T.J. Jones up at the top.
Incomplete, and it is 4th down coming up for Tommy Reese and Notre Dame.
He's trying to get the ball to Troy Nicholas, who just lost his footing. He's got a linebacker, Todd Thomas, on him. He comes out of his break, and he just goes down. Second time we've seen a Notre Dame offensive player just fall down and lose their footing. We saw his quarterback, Tommy Reese, and this time the big tight end. If he stays up, Brent, he's got a catch. He may have been short, but he would have had a catch for about 8 yards.
Timeout. Brian Kelly and the Irish.
Notre Dame, their final timeout of the half. 30-second timeout.
It has come down to this. Paul Chryst, 2nd year as head coach at Pitt, looking for that signature win. So often they have been close. For the Panthers, they need 2 wins to become bowl eligible. And when you looked at the schedule, if they didn't win this one, it was going to be uphill for the Panthers. But now looking ahead, you'll see North Carolina comes in here. Then they go to Syracuse. Then a beaten up Miami comes in here. And they would be on target to get that bowl game bid.
Oh, yeah. And with Paul Chryst coming over from Wisconsin and trying to change the culture here, he brought about, I think, 5 or 6 assistants when you added up the GAs and strength coaches. And he's trying to bring that same philosophy here, and it'll fit here. But a win like this, when it comes to recruiting and trying to get them excited about those last few games to not only become bowl eligible, but just get this program heading in a direction that he can be proud of and really where they ultimately want to be.
Not flashy, not at all.
No,
but you talk about a solid football man from a football family.
Good as it gets.
You're talking about Paul Chryst, and now he's 233 away from the biggest victory of his head coaching career here at Pittsburgh. 4th down and 11. Reese firing, knocked away. A beautiful defensive play by Anthony Gonzalez, the converted quarterback who now plays linebacker. And Gonzalez makes the play.
Brent, what a play on 4th down by Gonzalez. These safeties have been making a lot of plays. Here he is with soft coverage. The route's going to go to the outside beyond the 1st down marker. And Gonzalez is matched up against a big, tall, wide receiver. And he finds the football at the last moment and knocks it away. You can see Daniels break away from him. The ball is thrown a bit behind Daniels. And it allows Gonzalez to just put that left hand in there and knock the football away. And how happy is Paul Chryst?
Comes now with the freshman, Isaac Bennett. Let me check that. That was Bennett, the upperclassman, who had checked in. And a big 1st down run now.
Notre Dame out of timeouts. And now you're going to see Savage just work this clock.
You know, we've been talking about Paul Chryst, but let me double back on this quarterback, Tom Savage. 1,000 days between starts. When he last started at Rutgers, transferred to Arizona, Rich Rodriguez came in, changed the style in Arizona, had to look for another school. Came here to Pittsburgh, sat out last year. Now this year, as a fifth-year senior in his last season out of Eastern Pennsylvania, he too is looking for his biggest win ever. Bennett stopped just short.
I think they gave that to him, Brett.
I thought it was short, but maybe he got the spot.
Yeah, he gave it to him. That's the ball game right there.
Yeah, if that's it.
I couldn't agree more with you. The leadership that Savage displayed tonight, this Pitt team deserves a lot of credit. And we could talk about Notre Dame being injured, and they may review that with that spot, but we could talk about Notre Dame, the injuries that they've had. But let's put all of this on Paul Chryst and Pitt and them fighting to get this win tonight.
Previous play is under further review. The ruling on the field is a first down.
Well, here are the replays that the fellows up in the booth, Herbie, are taking a look at. When I saw it live, I thought they were short.
I was with you, and I saw him. I saw the spot, and I said, "Wow, it looks like he's gonna give him the first down here." It looks like he's short.
Very close.
Yeah, it's.
And while I got a moment, let me remind everybody that Robert Flores is coming up after this game with the Ford wrap-up. Obviously, if you haven't heard, Texas goes into overtime and beats West Virginia. First overtime game ever, and the Longhorns are still alive. And of course, in the big one down in Tuscaloosa, Alabama will be #1. Florida State will be number 2. They're on a collision course, folks. There's still some tough games ahead. Do not look past Auburn if you're an Alabama fan. Well, that's an impressive run by the Tigers this year.
And what they did today at Neyland Stadium, Tennessee was 4-1 at home. They only lost a close game to Georgia. So what they did today, running away from Tennessee in Knoxville, was impressive. And you're right, that game is also at Auburn. So that'll be a tough one for the Crimson Tide. Bama 1, Florida State 2, control their own destiny. And then you have Ohio State and Baylor and Stanford, who are going to wait to see if there's a slip-up up top.
After further review, the ruling on the field stands. First down.
Victory formation coming. Paul Chryst's biggest win ever since he became the head coach here before last season.
And what a great stage for him to have that big win. For Notre Dame, it's back to the drawing board. Their rallying call was let's try to get to a BCS bowl game, and went out this year. And after this, they're back to the drawing board, trying to get healthy and try to win a few more games.
Offensive coordinator Joe Rudolph, Brooks Bollinger works with the quarterbacks, Bobby Ingram with the wide receivers. Now take a look at just the reaction of the quarterbacks on the call.
This pretty much sums it up.
Nothing left to say.
That's it. It sums it up.
You know, Bollinger was a quarterback at Wisconsin, was in the NFL for a while. Ingram, of course, was a fine wide receiver for Joe Paterno over at Penn State. They're on the staff here with Paul Chryst. His defensive coordinator, Matt House, he did a tremendous job. This is just a great effort by these young men and this entire coaching staff here at Pittsburgh.
And they get revenge from a year ago. The replay that you showed with the 2 number 2s, they got out of South Bend last year, and they wanted a chance to beat Notre Dame, and they were able to capitalize on the second chance here this year back at Heinz Field.
So many of the Notre Dame people hug Paul Chryst. He's very popular. He's down there with Heather Cox. Let's go to Heather.
Brent, thanks so much, Coach. Congratulations. What does a win like this do to your program?
Well, I mean, it's obviously it's big, and but it's for these kids, you know, and it really is. That's not the coach speak right there. I mean, I'm happy for this group of guys, and they put it out there, and it's big for them, and certainly it's. Anytime you beat, a program like Notre Dame, it's a big thing, but I'm really happy for this group of guys.
It seems like whenever these two schools get together, at least in recent history, it's going to be close. In your mind, what do you think the difference was?
Well, I think, we certainly made some plays, and we gave up some, but, there's a big interceptions by Ray Venable, two big ones right there, and guys just, converted at the end of the game. Guys just made some plays, and that's what you need to do to win games.
And Tom Savage was great as well, Coach. We're going to talk to him also. Right, Coach, congrats. Right. Enjoy this win.
Good job, Tommy.
Tom, congratulations. We talked yesterday about the journey that you've had. This is your third school. Is it games like this that made that journey worthwhile?
Oh, absolutely. This is every quarterback's dream. I mean, you play against a phenomenal Notre Dame team. I mean, you grow up watching Notre Dame all the time. It's a special experience for me.
And so exciting to watch the back and forth. At what point did you think this is going to be a special night?
I just think the intensity that we had, I knew it was going to be special. I knew we were going out there and we were just trying to win this game. And I mean, what a great group we have here. It was fun.
And Tom, last year you weren't able to participate in this rivalry, sat at home and watched the game with your family. How much of a sense of retribution is there getting the win after the bitter loss last year?
It's awesome, especially for the seniors. I mean, these guys deserve it. We have a great group of guys here, and it's awesome for them. I'm happy.
Tom, congratulations. Enjoy this win.
Well, Heather, we told him the biggest thing would be to see Heather Cox after the game, and Tom Savage was able to do that. Herbie, unbelievable. They battled from behind 3 times before they finally went ahead and won it.
Yeah, and Notre Dame having 3 turnovers tonight. And Tom Savage said it, the intensity, the enthusiasm that they played with, they made the plays they had to win the game.
So join us next Saturday night, 8 p.m. Eastern on ABC. Stanford will take on the USC Trojans in the Los Angeles Coliseum. Now it is time for the Ford wrap-up. Let's go to Robert Flores. Take it away, Robert.